I don't know. These futures markets are verkackt. Oh, thanks for joining us on Work Visa Solutions, where we code for the American dream so that it's still open for yours. And you're going to want to stick with us until the end, because a lot of people talk bad about H-1B visa holders, and they shouldn't. And we're going to tell you the exact figure of how many of the jobs are taken by the H-1B visa holders. So the USCIS has given us the details of the 2018 lottery, and only 190,000 applications for an H-1B visa were received. This is down from the high of 2016 when there was 236,000 H-1B visa applications received by the United States Customs and Immigration Services, USCIS. In Donald Trump's first year, there were only 199,000 applications received, and in 2018, there was only 190,000 applications received for 85,000 slots. So in 2018, if you were applying for an H-1B visa and you had to play the lottery, it was the best time to be able to do that because you had a 44.7, well, let's round that up, 4% chance. So a 44.7% chance of getting your access to the American dream. And isn't that really worth it if you think about it? You're going to be able to continue to work in the country that you've chosen, the one that you love, the one that is about freedom and opportunity, and hard work and entrepreneurship. You've made a great decision. And I'm not saying it's a sure thing. But I am saying that you have a 44% chance of getting the job that you want, so you might as well take it. Now, why should you maximize your chances and go for the double lottery? And the double lottery is where you have first the master's grade, the 20,000 visas for the master's grade, which hasn't changed since 2004. So the INA, the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1990, provided for the nomenclature that is the H-1B visa. Here's a spoiler. The H-1B visa is just, you go to this section in a statute and it's H-1B and it defines the specialty occupation. That's it. That's how your visa status arose. It's literally just a law. Welcome to America. It's a nation of laws. We're thrilled to have you. And can we really see the technologicalization of the H-1B visa happening? When we already know that if you are getting your master's degree in STEM or your advanced degree in STEM in America, there is a high likelihood that you're not from America. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we're talking about full-time graduate students and the percent of international students by field. Now, these are only 2015 numbers, but this is a trend, and if anything, it has continued. Or, if you are trying to get an H-1B visa and you have a master's degree in electrical engineering, you are one of 4 other immigrants to that one American, native-born American. And you could say that maybe this is because you're being choked out of opportunity from these other individuals, or maybe it's just that these are extremely complex fields and you need to really welcome the entire world to get the best talent. You know, art history doesn't move you from one place to another, but if you're a really, really smart engineer, you can go anywhere. Anyway, do we have any more evidence that H-1B visas are correlated to tech and that their demand really relies upon more innovation and more development? Yeah, we can look at the raw data going all the way back. So, in 2015, how many applications did we receive? 172,000. It was more than 87,000 more than we actually had. The H-1B visa has been so successful that since its inception, Very few have gone unfilled. And the only time they really went unfilled was during a recession in the tech space after the dot-com boom in 2001 through 2003. There was a lot of downward pressure in the tech space. It was before Web 2.0. It was before Mark Zuckerberg even reached Harvard and shit. And so there were some H-1B visas left on the table in 2003, and since then there just haven't been. And that's also when most recently tomfoolery with the cap back in the early 2000s, where they allowed 195,000 to actually get through. Now, I mean, that might sound like a lot of jobs. Now, it might sound like a lot of jobs, but the interesting thing is they all get filled. And why do they all get filled? It's because there is this skill gap in America. Then it's not just in America, it's the world. So our educational institutions in America are not just training America, they're training the fucking world. And they're training the world um, in tech. There's one MIT. And if you want to get that education, you can go to one place. And so MIT's not competing against people from Kentucky. MIT's competing against people from everywhere. So if you really want to have the best and the brightest, your master's and your PhD programs are going to be populated not by people from Iowa, even though there might be people from Iowa in them. It won't be populated from them. It'll be populated from people all over the world. It's not a slight against Iowa. I could slight them. I won't, though. I'll just edit this out later. So, the next real big thing, right. Now the next bullshit thing that really pisses me off is that they will say that and by they, I mean these people like read Breitbart. And I just read a Breitbart article today because I get an H-1B Google alert that goes off, and it is mostly xenophobia, which is a big word, and you shouldn't use it, especially if you're confronted by xenophobia. You should just say, I have an American dream just like you. Try to seek common ground. Don't explain to them that they're morons who have, racist underpinnings. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sell them America. They already love that. Anyway, the important thing is that H-1B visas don't really undercut the price point of the tech talent that they are staffing for. The staffing companies could, because they were using it as a commodity. We're going to talk about winners and losers really quickly. However, on average, the median reported salaries of H-1B and U.S. workers for programmers, that's way more competitive. So if you're between 20 and 29, your median salary if you're on an H-1B, 60 grand. If you're a U.S. worker, $58,000. Now, if you're 30 to 40, it's 70,000, and same for U.S. workers at 70,000. Yeah, my gut right here. This is where I do my best thinking. Saying, sounds like you're trying to pull one over on me. It's almost there, but the H-1Bs were a little cheaper for the younger kids. So they're getting screwed, and they're taking Americans' jobs. Well, let's talk about winners and losers. The Donald Trump's decline of the H-1B visa applications, and then we'll answer the question. They took a jobs at the end of this. Winners. Big tech. Big tech is a huge winner in Donald Trump's new stepped up, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in Donald Trump's new stepped up actions to protect the American worker or hire American, buy American. Amazon, their uptick in approvals for H-1B visas between 2017 and 2016 was 78%. Microsoft was up 30%. Intel was up 20. Google was up 31. Facebook was up 53%. Apple does its own thing. Apple's been international since Apple was Apple. They were only up 7%. Apple's going to hire. Who's Apple's going to hire? Who's the losers? Who are the losers? Or, as Donald Trump would call them, the losers. Losers. If you ever want to speak Trump, go to Long Island. Get drunk. No, I'm kidding. I've never been to Long Island. So anyway, who lost? Who were the losers from Donald Trump's new policies? It's the IT consulting staffing firms. It's your TCS, your Infosystems, your WePro, and then the ones below that you recognize even less. These companies they're nationwide. They provide a service, and there's a reason why these companies can exist. And I'll tell you the reason why these companies can exist is because their technological acumen is necessary. And we really shouldn't just sit there and say that we can staff everybody that we need to and trivialize these firms that are connecting us and serving our IT needs. If anything, we need more of them. We need more technology, not less technology. And if the people that are being trained on an international basis, you shouldn't be surprised that your tech companies are coming from countries outside of America. That being said, who lost? TCS. They dropped their applications 50%. Infosystems 57%. WePro 50%. HCL America, I think, isn't that who makes the Walmart TVs? I don't know. 35%. Can't be who makes the Walmart TVs because all these who lost? The top 7 Indian-based companies. TCS down 50%, Infosystem down 57%, WePro down 60%, HCL America down 35%, and the other top 7, including Mindtree, down 68%. Why do they have to get punched in the face? Somebody has to get punched in the face. That's just kind of how it works. They promised protectionism, they got protectionism. Are we getting better code because of it? No. If you are a brilliant person who was trained in America and you got your PhD or your master's in electrical engineering or computer science, why is it so hard for you to start your career in America? Seriously, why is that so hard? Everybody talks about legal immigration. You're one of the best brains in the world for a science that is extremely important to the future and for creating companies and businesses that have never existed and then suddenly will be huge in 20 years. It's not like Facebook they did. And then Google, just boom, these things, they just appear. These other companies are just going to appear, and we're teaching them. We're teaching these children in our universities, and 80% of them aren't from here. Why are you sending them home? Doesn't make any sense. So why are people really, really upset about the H-1B visa, and how much impact is it making? Thanks for sticking around to the end. This is totally for you guys. And if you like this so far, and if it's your first time, I'm going to do this one more time. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. And before we tell you what the latest news says is the actual impact of the H-1B visa, if this is your first time and you're enjoying the content, please subscribe because we want to help your American dream. And if you've been here before and you have a question about how you can turn your H-1B into whatever the heck your mind desires, give us a comment, hit us up on Facebook, or go to workvisas.solutions and see if you have what it takes to get into that. Anyway, here's how many jobs are actually displaced. Are you ready? This is it. This is the real quick. The new H-1B petitions as a percentage of the U.S. labor force for 2017, 0.05%. Barely, barely statistically significant. And who's the source? The U.S. ICS, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. And this has to do with the 85,000 new H-1B petitions relative to the percentage of the U.S. labor force. We're talking about 99.95% against. And they won't even let you come here. And they won't let your American dream start. Even though you're less than 0.1%. Anyway, we got a lot of new cool features that we've been launching every day at workvisas.solutions. We're trying to make sure that we're shunting everybody so that they can have so their application and their data management is like really effective. That's why we're looking for H-1Bs. If you have an H-1B and you want to check out our software, totally want you to do it. It's totally free for you guys. And, check it out. We'll be back in a few weeks or less with some more content. We don't necessarily want to do like stodgy content in the sense that I could be doing like code demos. But if you want a code demo, just fucking get in touch.